Hello, thanks for joining us again for the Detour Live. Iffy, we're back and there's racing on. We're past the rest day and we're looking forward to a stage 10. Should be a sprint, so people will be, glued for your Oracle tips at the end of the show because you're definitely due. Now, just on that, I said Pogacar. I didn't get a chance to rib you about it because obviously we had a big show last night and you shut me down.
Past history, mate. Past history.
As soon as I mentioned him, you're like, nah, mate, nah. It's not going to happen.
No,
and what happened?
I said I don't think the favourites will be racing out. I think it'll be a breakaway. Is what I said.
Yeah,
and it nearly was. I got him on half to go.
Yeah. Well, we're lucky to be joined as always by our mate Matty Keenan, who's been doing a stellar job on the commentary. And Keenan, your legs are starting to feel the pinch from Brownie's abuse.
It's all Graham Brown's fault. So I apologise to everybody who's watching tonight. You've gone from O'Grady, Evans, and Schleck to Keenan. It's a downgrade coming back from the rest day. What a night you guys had last night. Graham Brown, his training program that he's got me doing, you know how I was as a bike rider, just, consistent, solid one pace. He has me doing these sprint efforts because he recognised that I've got zero speed. And he's got me doing these 3 sets of 5 sprints. And today he rings me on FaceTime in between set 2 and set 3. Oh, mate, I just thought I'd check in, see how you're going. I might talk you through the next 3 sets. I couldn't talk. I was bringing up the breakfast from the day before because I hadn't had breakfast before I got on. It was brutal.
It sounds like you're going to be fit enough to make a comeback for the Bakerits, mate.
Sign me up.
I was going to say, what's the end result, Keenan? What are you doing at the end of this?
Fun. I'm challenging myself. That's the only reason I'm doing it. I'm not lining up to race anything. I just want to challenge myself. I did a pre-tour test. I'll have a week recovery at the end of the tour, and then I'll do a post-tour test, and I'll see if I can get any fitter. I think I will be able to based on the training that I've done. I've posted all the sessions, so anybody can jump on and challenge themselves. Don't have to tell anybody about it. Just challenge yourself. And one of the things that I've always tried to do in commentary and cycling is infect as many people as possible with the bike bug. Hopefully this infects people to get out and actually ride and just try and get a little fitter.
Yeah, well, you've inspired me, mate. I need to pull my finger out and get back on the bike. I haven't been on the bike since paper round, so I'm definitely due. Now, as we always say, if you want to submit questions, you can. Jenny Whitehead says, good evening, Dan, Iffy and Matt. Good evening, Jenny. And Lee Barry says, give the Bay Crits a go.
No, Lee, I'm not.
He has. He's an old Bay Crits veteran, mate.
Yeah, I rode first time I rode the Bay Crits was in 1992 as part of John Beasley's team, and we had Alan Aquan on the team, and he won the first stage, and then he went across the finish line, arms up in the air, and crashed 10 minutes later.
So what's your takeaways from the first week of first 9 stages of the tour, Matty?
Yeah, the new generation is generation now. Unbelievable. We carry on a bit about how young they are. It sounds like we're probably talking about it too much. But when you look at Mark Hershey the other day, he's the 4th youngest rider in the race, 22. Pogacar is 21. We've got a bunch of other young guys that are in the mix. Bernal's the defending champion. He's 23. The average age in the race is 29. So these guys have got huge future in front of them. And I was doing a ride a couple of weeks ago, or a week ago, actually, last Wednesday. And there were people on Zwift saying, the tour doesn't have the same appeal to it this year. There are no big names. These are the big names for the next generation. They've arrived. They've just arrived early. And guys like Froome, Thomas, Nibali, they're at the back end. And now we're seeing the front end of the next crew coming through. And I'm really excited about it.
Yeah, agree with you, mate. I think that you're spot on. And what we're seeing now is that whereas these kids of 2021 wouldn't have ridden Grand Tours, or if they did, they never recovered from it in the old days, they're being managed so much better. I just don't think it's natural talent. They're being managed really well now, and that's the big difference.
Yeah, and it's the mentality as well, John. One of my favourite moments, you and I, we had to have a chat yesterday, didn't we, to debrief on Sunday because it was such a good stage. And both of us agreed one of our favourite moments was a tiny little moment that lasted for a second or two. And it was with 1 kilometre to go. Mark Hershey's been in the break for half of the stage because it took forever to the break to get established. He's been caught by 4 of the stars of the tour. 4 of the guys, the winner's going to come from one of those guys in that group. He gets caught, and at a K to go, he's reaching down to tighten up his shoes. He's still in it. That's the psychology of a winner. He didn't win, but he's got the right mindset.
But that's a classic Alaphilippe move, the old shoe tightening. I think
back in our old day, my day, it was tighten up the toe straps, but same thing.
Yeah, exactly the same.
And what about someone like Richie Port? What do you reckon he's going to do this week or coming into the second part?
Dan, when you look at the numbers and the speed that they've been going up these mountains, and they've been record-breaking performances in terms of their speeds up, historic mountains like the Col de Mary Blanc and the Col de Peyresourde the other day. And Richie is right there with him. And I thought Richie, maybe he's past what his best was in 2016 when he finished 5th. I thought it was a chance to win the Tour in 2017. But his numbers must be the same as what they were then to stay with these guys, because they're going faster than what they were a couple of years ago. So Richie is in as good a form as he's ever been. He's still there inside the top 10. The only place he lost ground really is the crosswind, a little bit of distance, 11 seconds gone on stage 9. He can definitely finish inside the top 10. But as I've said multiple times, for his legacy to the sport and for him to look back on, so he's got that great image that people can see that in his highlights reel. I want him to win a stage and put his hands above his head.
We've got Sports Director Matt White, who's joining us now live from the bus. Whitey, how was your rest day, mate? Did you get some boxing in?
No boxing, mate. Since you left the team, I haven't had too many sparring partners, mate.
Well, I remember back in those early days when we got the gloves out, we used to try and get everyone involved. And I remember even Jerry got the gloves on one time, but I think that sort of flogged him. I don't think he recovered from that session.
And I think in general we're probably a little bit scared to give Jerry an uppercut by mistake.
Just a swing and a miss, Whitey, when it came to Jerry.
Yeah, I tell you, I would be a bit worried because if you know Jerry's story, he used to have a little fight in Sharman's tents in his early days. Young Jerry.
The Bendigo brawler.
Whitey, happy with the first phase of the race? 4 days in yellow. That's a massive tick in my view.
Yeah, definitely, mate, definitely. It was. We wanted to go hard early on. That resulted in the yellow, and to keep it that long, it was. The boys did well, and we rode smart as well. We haven't wasted a lot of energy in keeping that jersey, which bodes well for the second half of the race.
How happy was Sam Bewley when he saw Jumbo Visma and a few other teams come to the front on those quick starts of the stages, so he didn't have to ride?
Well, the last road stage, there was just attacking all the way to the bottom of the first climb. So our guys, we had certain guys and teams we wanted to mark, and other teams had similar tactics, and that resulted in basically that the last mountain stage, no one got more than 15 metres in front of the bunch until the first climb of the day started. So I think we've ridden that first phase of each race well, which has allowed us to not have to chase super hard. And obviously, you've got to gamble a little bit and predict the other team's tactics as well.
At the start of that stage, with the speed at the start, what was your conversation in the team car? Because that speed was insane.
Yeah, well, we had 5 riders in that range and a 11-minute range. There was 4 or 5 guys only, and then after that, because you can't control everybody, and then after that, we know that Ineos would cancel out Jumbo would cancel out Ineos, and then also you've got to read into the race that there's 2 teams that are clearly here for teams classification. That's Movistar and EF. So the guys have an awareness of what's going on. We spoke about obviously in the meeting prior. And so they know that they have to be in a break if the wrong combination of those guys are up the road.
Whitey, I was going to ask you, I certainly, about today, I asked you about the wind. You said it hasn't sprung up much yet, but it happens quite quickly. But a lot of the riders will be concerned about the stage today, right on the edge of the coast all day long. And I've been down in this area before. A couple of years ago, we started around here, and then about 4 or 5 years before that. And it will be likely to really split up today.
Look, John, I think there'll be a lot of guys in general worried just because of the ferocity of the first week of the tour. there is a bit of wind. It's nothing too serious, but if a team does put it in the gutter, it'll split today. But the nature of the course today, we're sort of like a bit of a figure eight sort of a setup. So we've got a bit of everything today. We've got tailwind, we've got headwind, but I would expect not everyone will come to the line this afternoon. But it'll be a nervous day. Some guys come out of the rest day really well. Some guys struggle a little bit, but it's a dead flat stage. But it certainly could be a hell of a lot worse. We are on the Atlantic, and it is pretty mild winds considering.
Whitey, obviously, it was disappointing to lose the jersey, but at least do you get sort of 3 or 4 days now to reset, the pressure's off, and sort of charge the batteries up for that sort of last part of the tour?
Yeah, look, we won't have 3 or 4 days. We'll be hitting it pretty soon. But look, the 8 guys we've got here, besides a couple of minor touchdowns, everyone's healthy. Any niggles are minor. And we're in a good place to reset and go after those goals pretty soon.
Have you had a chance to sample the seafood? I think you're in a pretty good oyster area, aren't they, Iffy? Like I remember massive, like the press centre had massive buffets.
Yeah, I did knock over a few oysters yesterday for dinner and had some other seafood for lunch. And it was nice. We're staying where we're staying. So all the teams were in La Rochelle except for 2 teams, and we were out on this little estuary in between 50k from La Rochelle, and all around our hotel were these little shacks who would just sell fresh oysters. And the hotel asked us if we got there. Would the staff like to eat oysters on the rest day? And half of our staff love oysters. So we got stuck into it yesterday. But obviously the boys ate our chef's food. But, a little bit of oysters certainly went down at lunch yesterday, mate.
It would have been rude not to, Whitey. When you're in the local region, you've got to eat the local cuisine.
Well, what they say, when in Rome.
Yeah, exactly.
I set a record last time we were in that area morning. 3 dozen oysters I had one morning. It was good.
It was like that episode. It was like that episode of The Simpsons when Homer Simpson gets kicked out of that seafood joint.
Now, if it says all you can eat and a man stops to go fishing on the way home, do you think he's had all he can to eat? It's false advertising.
That's right. That could have been me. But is it sad, Whitey, that 2020 really has spelled the death of the buffet?
Well, I wish it had.
Is it still going?
The buffet?
Yeah.
Yeah, it is actually. Unfortunately,
I would have thought COVID, that should be dead and buried.
Well, so did I. So did I, mate. But unfortunately,
they've got the sneeze guard.
Unfortunately, our staff, not our riders, our staff have had to share buffets with the general public on the Tour de France.
Oh, that's ridiculous. Has that made you nervous? You're in this bubble. You're meant to be in this bubble, and the period where you're at the most risk, where the riders are at the most risk, is when they're actually out on the road, and you're relying on the public to do the right thing. It must make you a little bit anxious.
Oh yeah, mate. It's not ideal. Let's just say that it's not ideal. I understand it's been a logistical nightmare putting this together for everyone involved, but having to share a buffet with general public, it's not cool, mate. It's not cool. But we're wearing masks all the time. We're very, very sensitive with hand sanitization. We're doing all we can. We just hope everyone else would actually do the same as what we are.
Yeah, I'm back to the bike race. Daryl Impey. I'm picturing Daryl Impey getting in a move similar to what he did last year. And if he gets into a break, there's not many guys who can beat him in a sprint finish. And he looked really good on stage one of the Criterium de Dauphiné. It was only Wout van Aert that beat him. Can you give us the inside running on a stage that you've got earmarked for Daryl?
Yeah, look, mate, there's not too many opportunities because the stages 12 and 14, they're a little bit tougher. You look in the final of those stages, but they be the two. Because outside of that, there's not much else on the table for this year. But it's I'm not sure if he's actually going as good as last year anyway. Okay. So it's going to be tricky, and there's not too many opportunities for those in between guys, because last year there was many stages and many stages that the break would let go for guys with flat finishes, but this year it's a little bit different.
Yeah.
Good stuff. You got anything to finish with, John?
Yeah, look, it's funny. I was just Impey was the one I was going to talk about. It was 12 and 14 with the two stages that I earmarked. That'd be perfect for Daryl. So we're at least we're on the same wavelength there. But let's it'd be great to see him go out with another stage before he leaves the team, because he's been a part of the heart and soul of the team.
Yeah. Good luck, Whitey.
Yeah, look, it would be. Yeah, cheers. We've got it's an interesting second week, and then obviously we start getting pretty backhand heavy come Sunday. Sunday through to the finishes, there's not much on unless you're a world-class climber come Sunday, from Sunday onwards.
Yeah, I would agree.
All right. Well, thanks for joining us again, Whitey, and all the best for today's stage, and we'll check in again tomorrow.
Yeah, cheers. I'm staying at the same hotel, so with a bit of luck, we've got some oysters for dinner tonight as well.
Good
Have
stuff.
some for John.
Yeah.
Thanks, mate.
Enjoy. See you, mate. There's some good insights again from Whitey.
It's awesome. He's generous with his time. The amount of interviews he's doing, I've heard him on podcasts from Velo News, from other podcasts as well. I've heard him on ITV in Great Britain, NBC in the US. He doesn't got any time to direct the team.
Yeah, he's really good with the media stuff. And I think he enjoys it too, because he speaks well, and he's just so bloody passionate. Speaking of passion, now, Johnny, we released a little video today that I think it was our way of saying thanks to the Mitchelton Scott guys for the 4 days in yellow. And you like this one, Keno. It's Steve Jobs summing up the secrets to success. So we'll play that for the punters.
People say you have to have a lot of passion for what you're doing, and it's totally true. And the reason is because it's so hard that if you don't, any rational person would give up. It's really hard, and you have to do it over a sustained period of time. So if you don't love it, if you're not having fun doing it, and you don't really love it, you're going to give up. And that's what happens to most people, actually. If you really look at the ones that ended up being successful, unquote, in the eyes of society, and the ones that didn't, oftentimes it's the ones that are successful loved what they did so they could persevere when it got really tough. And the ones that didn't love it quit because they're sane, right? Who would want to put up with this stuff if you don't love it? So it's a lot of hard work, and it's a lot of worrying constantly. And if you don't love it, you're going to fail. So you got to love it. You got to have passion. And I think that's the high order bit. The second thing is you've got to be a really good talent scout, because no matter how smart you are, you need a team of great people, and you've got to figure out how to size people up fairly quickly, make decisions without knowing people too well, and hire them, and see how you do, and refine your intuition, and be able to help build an organization that can eventually just build itself. Because you need great people around you.
Yeah, I never get sick of seeing stuff like that, because Steve Jobs, I think, summed it up there, Keenan. Like, if you tick those two boxes, you got passion, and all of us, we're passionate about cycling. We love it. And if you've got the right people around you, it's amazing what sort of success you can have. And even on the back of the conversation last night, if you're talking to Stewie, Andy Cadell, the amount of passion and respect, and that was one of the highlights I've had in a long time in sort of the cycling media stuff, to connect people. And I think particularly in COVID, everyone, we're struggling with that thing, and that's connection. We're struggling to connect with stories, and we're in bloody Victoria, and we can't go see our families and all this sort of stuff. So I think, when you reflect, and you reflect at the core of what the team is, they're filled with some great people, and we're very lucky that, we do get to share these sort of stories. And I think it was really well summed up.
And Dan, we are very lucky to have you to put stuff together like that. That was absolutely bloody brilliant, mate.
Oh, no worries.
Yeah. Dan, that's goosebump material. I've heard that speech from Steve Jobs a few times before. but not over bike imagery. The beauty of it is everything that he's said is true and applicable to whatever the pursuit is in life that you're going down, whether it's business, whether it's the arts, it could be music, it could be painting, it could be writing, it could be trying to be a professional bike rider, football player, it could be trying to be a coach, whatever it is, it applies to any pursuit in life. And it was fantastic. Well played, mate.
Yeah, no worries at all. Now, we've got a jam-packed show. As we said, we caught up with Adam Yates earlier. But before we get to that, and before we sign off with you, Keeno, the commentary, how are you going with the sleep patterns? How's the fatigue levels? And the chemistry really is hitting its strides now with yourself, Bridie, and Robbie.
Yeah, we've spoken a couple of times about just trying to manage the dynamic with us in different locations, and I think we're slowly getting better at it. We should have it just about right by the 20th of September. In terms of the sleep patterns, last night on the rest day, I didn't go to bed much earlier than normal. I normally get to bed at about 4 o'clock after the commentary and so on, and lights out maybe about 1:15. Last night, I tried to stay up so I could stay in that pattern because you break the pattern and it feels like you got jet lag without the travel benefits. So last night I stayed up and I watched most of the Alex de Minaur match in the US Open, and then I went to bed at about 3:30.
What did you think of Novak getting? His brand down the toilet.
He has no brand. It's broken. His brand is broken, and he tries to compare himself to Roger and Rafa. He might win more Grand Slams than Roger or Rafa in the end by the time he's done. Who cares? It's not only about that. My daughter's into tennis, and her heroes are Ash Barty and Rafa Nadal, and I'm pretty happy with those two being her idols.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. What do you reckon of all that, Iffy?
Oh, look, I thought harsh in one way because he only just hit it in a bit of frustration. He didn't hit it at her at all. Matter of fact, you can see he was apologetic straight away as soon as he realised he'd done it. But you just can't do that. But just lately, the whole stuff with trying to start a new union
tennis
thing,
tour,
tennis tour, all the nightclubs party thing he was putting on. It's just really all going awry, isn't it?
Yeah, I think there's just little chips of the veneer have been broken off, and we're seeing a bit more of the true character. And I don't like what I'm seeing.
Yeah, it's a bit of a shame.
Brilliant tennis player, though, was a bloke.
Yeah, that's right. And you are on the Detour Cycling podcast. So
by the way. Yeah, and we're up 2 sets to love, best of 5.
Exactly. We took a detour. But thanks for joining us on the show again, Matty. All the best with the commentary tonight, mate. And we'll check in with you again very soon.
Will do.
Thanks Matty. Should be a great day.
So, as we said, we caught up with the man of the first 9 days of the tour, Adam Yates, and this is what he had to say earlier today. Well, Johnny, we've got another special guest, the man of the first week of the tour, Adam Yates. Yatesy, how are you, mate? How was the experience of wearing the coveted yellow jersey?
Yeah, it's been good. It was a strange circumstances getting a jersey, but I think in the end we did it proud. We held it for a few days, and we couldn't hold them to the last day, but still plenty of opportunities to come.
So before I jump in and ask you what you're going to be doing for the rest of the tour and what your plans are, because I keep reading different things, I just want to go through those great moments. So, of course, stage 2, I was so impressed with the way you quickly closed that gap to Alaphilippe. That was huge.
Yeah, it was good. I said from the very beginning, actually, from the team, I just said in October that, a lot of time we go to the tour, we're always thinking about saving energy. But obviously this year's a little bit different with I was a bit sick before Dauphiné, and I just wanted to get stuck in and have a go. And stage 2 was the perfect opportunity. So we had a crack, and we almost got away with a win there. So, it would have been good, but give it a crack and see what happens.
And then, when you look back at that, do you think maybe you should have just gone bang over the top of him on the top of that climb?
It would have been nice, but I think, to be honest, when I went, it was the perfect moment because I went on the steep section and I just managed to get the bike just as it flattened off. Yeah, it would have been nice if it kept going up because we only went up halfway the climb there. And the first lap round, we went all the way to the top. So it would have been ideal if we went all the way to the top again the second time. But yeah, it wasn't to be.
Yatesy, what was the moment like when you're on the bus and they've come in and said, hey, hang on. You got to go to the podium. Like, what were the emotions going through your head?
Well, I didn't even know what was going on, to be honest. Like, why you got a call for somebody and they said, oh, you got to go to the podium. And I was already showered. I was already eating my porridge, having my food, and like, oh yeah, you're gonna make your way to the podium. But I was like, oh Jesus, what's going on here? Because I finished like next to Alaphilippe, so I knew like he was, I hadn't lost any time. And even then, I got to the podium, and we still didn't really know what happened. And I asked him, and he said, yeah, they give him a time penalty. So strange way to get it, but I guess I'll take it.
Well, this isn't the first time that something like that has potentially happened to you, because we remember when Froome went for his 300-meter sprint, and there's all that confusion and drama, and you could have really worn the yellow jersey that day. So you've had a couple of weird experiences at the Tour, mate.
Yeah, I know. It's this race is bonkers, and what was it, 2016? Yeah, when Froome, a couple of guys crashed in the motorbike. And it was still, it must have been, 2K from the top of the climb. It was Mont Ventoux, actually. And that day would have been yellow, but they changed the time back. So I guess it works both ways.
Did Julian say anything to you? Of course he did, but what was his attitude like at the podium when he said, yeah, they've docked me in time? What was he?
To be honest, he didn't seem too bothered. He was kind of, obviously a bit gutted, but at the end of the day, he's a big champion, and he didn't really. He kind of accepted that, that's what it was, and he got on with it. So fair play to him.
Yeah,
and mate, I've seen on the backstages your parents have been there, and outside of the bubble, they've been sticking to the bubble, mate. They must have been super proud by the experience. Yeah,
they've actually just bought a camper, so that this is the first time they're cruising around, and they've had to, it's the wrong kind of year to do it, but they're both retired now, so they can they get a bit of freedom to come around and watch some of the racing. But yeah, they've enjoyed it. My dad's still knocking out 40-hour weeks on the bike. Mum's just cruising around, so they're enjoying it and enjoying themselves.
That's great. So I think it was stage 4 when that 4 or 5 when the race split and you were in the front group. And you had no teammates around you. There were 2 things that surprised me. One, that you weren't sitting down the back like you normally do, and you didn't get caught in that split. And 2, were you worried when you didn't have any teammates with you?
Oh, it was a really hard stage from start to finish. I think you obviously saw like Bora really wanted to take it up, and the start was it wasn't flat, it was uphill, slight crosswind. So the guys did a lot of work just to keep me in that position to begin with. So in the end, we had to use a lot of energy as a team to just to keep me up there. And in the end, I might not have had anyone there in the finish, but I didn't really need anybody at that point. It was kind of tailwind all the way to the finish, and the guys have done the job perfectly. So no stress on my part.
That was part 1. So I was just looking at my phone of the chat with Yatesy. Now, before we go into part 2, John, we should give our sponsors a bit of a shout out.
Yes, we nearly forgot them yesterday, but anyway, Lexus and Blackburn, of course, the Moore family, fantastic supporters, and there's Jack Fowler, winner of the first stage of the first Sun Tour, behind the Lexus lead car, and of course Mitchelton Wines. That's the Mitchelton Hotel at Mitchelton Winery in the Gambie. And as we keep saying, as soon as this lockdown unlocks, get up there because it's absolutely glorious on the Goulburn River. And let's go camper vans. We're about to come up with a really good competition where some of our listeners and the punters can win a week's holiday with a Let's Go Camper Van. We'll announce that tomorrow. And also there's the 90-day special. That's right. Early bird special. Yes, exactly.
We've got a logo for that.
We have. It was just slow coming, but there it is.
And we've got a quick message from our mates at Bike Exchange.
We are the world's #1 bike marketplace with over 900 brands, where buyers and sellers are brought together in a place where a bike is never just a bike. Bike Exchange, where the world buys, sells, learns, and rides.
Okay, here's part 2 of our chat with Adam Yates. Now, Yatesy, 2020 is obviously a crazy edition with all COVID and that, but have you found it a little bit more enjoyable because there's less madness, less media, less crowd, less people trying to nick a bidding out of your bike? How have you found it?
Yeah, to be honest, it's a strange feeling, but it's almost like other races the tour now. Like normally the tour's bonkers, like I said before, and there's crowds everywhere. Like you can't even get to sign on because there's so many people and people asking for autographs and trying to take selfies. And this year, everything's fenced off, everyone's staying away, and it's kind of almost like other races, like Dauphiné. It could be any race. It could be Dauphiné, it could be Paris-Nice, but it's actually the Tour de France. So it's a strange race, but to be honest, it's actually all right for me.
We've had 2 amazing stages in the Pyrenees. And the first one, you looked to be really in control. You let the surges go, came back. You looked really, really comfortable. But then the last stage 9, you just couldn't go with that last surge.
Yeah, the first stage 8. I really had to pace my effort. They went really fast at the bottom. And I hung on for as long as I could, and then eventually it just got too much, and I just had to pull out the line and ride my own pace. And that worked well. Like I held them there for a long time, and just kind of they were there, 50 meters in front, 40 meters in front, and slowly brought them back. So yeah, stage 8 was fine, but then stage 9, obviously, it was a completely different story. The brake didn't go for 50, 60 Ks, and then we went full gas on the first climb of the day. So already there now, I was a bit under the pump and suffering quite a bit. So we got to the last climb, and it's one of the things that I tried to do the same thing, try and ride my own pace. But yeah, the guys went a little bit quick for me, so it is what it is.
Now, Yates, have you had a lot of people wanting to get yellow memorabilia from you? Like you get the little bags every day that come with, arm warmers and things like that. Has that brought all the rats out?
Oh, not really. To be honest, I'm not organised yet. I got about a couple of bags and a couple of jerseys. But to be honest, they're actually pretty. They're pretty tight with the jerseys. I've only got 4, and I've only been yellow.
Really?
So yeah. Oh mate, I've asked every day. I ask, can I get some more? Can I get some more so I can dish them out to the guys? But and then
COVID
they say
cutback.
Yeah. They say yeah, and then the next day nothing's there. So I'm gonna have to get Taryn to get onto them and crack the whip a bit. But yeah.
Now, I really hope you buy yourself something very special to commemorate this tour. Now, I want to flash back to 2016 to show, just give you an idea of something that you could probably purchase for yourself.
Edmo, we didn't chat to you yesterday, mate. What's some of the best things that come out of the UK?
Look, mate, I think, honestly, it's got to be the Yates brothers.
What do you reckon, Yatesy?
Obviously, but what can I say?
I reckon personalised number plate.
It's the same as old mate Sir Alan Sugar. Anyone who is British should know him. You guys didn't, but yeah, how's this?
Who's that? Yates won.
On the polo.
That's
the most important thing.
Number plate's worth more than
Yeah.
2 questions. Have you still got the polo? And what personalised number plate are you getting to commemorate this tour, mate?
So I've actually got rid of the polo now. The polo is not mine anymore. But the number plate, like I said before, the camper my mum and dad bought, we've actually put the number plate on there. So it's still being used, and I don't know actually. It's different now because I'm in Andorra. It's a bit more difficult to get the personalised ones. You can still do it, but there's a lot more restrictions with what you can get. So I'll have to look into it.
Yeah. Well, you're going to have to get yourself something good, mate, because it's been unbelievable. Have you had a lot of people support, a lot of messages? Any famous people? Has David Beckham messaged you or anything like that?
No, nobody famous really. No, I mean, I'm pretty under the radar, aren't I, St. Pete? So, and I'm not really on social media that much, to be honest. So I try to stay away from it, don't I? So I'm not really looking.
He's a ripper, Yatesy. Like, I used to love winding those guys on the bus, and they're very different. Like Simon and Adam, like different personality. Adam's got a little bit more grunt, I reckon. Like he's got a little bit more yap on him. So yeah, and he used to like at the Tour de France collecting fridge magnets as well. So we're always on the hunt. Every stage they go to, they'd want a fridge magnet to commemorate. And 2 years, his whole fridge like it was just filled. And yeah, here's the last part. Iffy, I think you were asking him about today's stage and what the plans are for the rest of the tour. Well, Johnny, we've got another special guest, the man. Sorry, I pressed the wrong video. This is part 3.
Now, we've got today, if it's, I just talked to Whitey, he said it's not so windy at the moment, but I've been around this course years back, and the wind really splits the race on a day. The guys might be a bit concerned.
Yeah, it's going to be super windy. Well, saying that, it's not going to be super windy, but it's got a potential to split anyway. I mean, we're almost in the ocean, you know, we're going across a couple of bridges and stuff, and there's nothing on either side, so it's going to get pretty hectic for sure. And especially this area, there's a lot of roundabouts, a lot of road furniture. Straight off the rest day, you know, everyone's a bit more fresher, a bit more enthusiastic. So for sure, it's gonna be carnage. But hopefully we can get through without any troubles.
Now, you've said on the website that you're looking to lose some time, even though you're 8th and only at 1 minute. You've decided, you know, you're not going to, as you said right at the start, you're not going for GC. You're prepared to lose some time so you can get a chance for that first stage win.
Yeah, I think we'll see what happens today. Like I said, it's not supposed to be super windy, and if it all kind of stays together, you know, it's quite hard to lose a chunk of time in a finish like this. You can roll off the back and you lose, you know, 2 or 3 minutes, but it's much easier to lose time on a mountain day when you go in group heads and you lose 20 minutes. So I think we'll see how it plans out. To be honest, I need to speak to White and find out what he wants to do. He's the mastermind down it all, and with that, I've not had a chance to have a chat with him. But yeah, the general idea is to lose a bit of time here and there, and then we'll see what happens. Because, like I said from the very beginning, there's a lot of stages that suit me. There's a lot of stages, especially in the 3rd week, that really suit me. And already I've shown I'm in good condition. Yeah, not the best condition that I've ever been in, but good enough to be up there and fight for the win.
Oh, well, yeah. Well, we wish you all the best, Yatesy. As we said, it's been unbelievable first week of the tour. You've done us all proud, and we're looking forward to seeing you light it up, particularly in that last week, buddy. So all the best.
Thank you. Hopefully the best. Hopefully.
Thanks, Adam. Adam, thanks for coming on, and congratulations. It's been absolutely brilliant first week of the tour. Thanks, bud.
Thanks again. Cheers, guys.
He was great. What do you reckon, Iffy?
Yeah, he's a superstar. They're both such great guys, and it's just a shame that he's going to the sky is the limit to Ineos next year, and be different. That the brothers won't be racing in the same team, which will be really interesting.
I thought you could ask him the curly one and say, "Hey, mate, what's going on?
I was
leaving the team. What happened? Or did you get too scared?"
Dementia.
Hey, one good insight we had last night. I recorded an episode of the Social Distance podcast with Sam Bewley and George Bennett. Now, the podcast, if you do go and check it out, it is a lot more loose than the detour. There's a bit of swearing. And
really?
Yeah. But the Wi-Fi wasn't too bad on this show, although George's was a bit scratchy at times. But one thing they did say was they gave a really funny insight to the crash on stage 1. So I thought I'd clip up the insight from that. And yeah, here is.
So we were riding well, and like at one point we were 7 guys from Jumbo Visma, plus 1 guy from Quickstep, and the rest of the peloton had crashed behind us. So like we could have gone on. We were right. We were always at the front, and we're like, no, we're just trying to keep it together. And eventually, we got a few teams together of like the GC contenders and said, let's try and this is just stupid. There's been like 40 crashes already, and no one from heaps of our guys have crashed, but me and Primoz had stayed upright, and we're like, before anything stupid happens, we're going to try and neutralize it. We got everyone together. And managed to, like, for the first time in cycling history, get everyone together and be like, right, we're going to go easy down this hill. And everybody agreed, except suddenly at one moment, Astana start just riding full gas down the hill, and then they all crashed. And everyone was like, that's karma. You know, no one felt too sorry for them. And then we keep going super, super easy. And I was like, just standing up on my bike, like coming towards the bottom of the hill. And I turned to talk to your teammate, Chris Jensen. I was about to talk to him and say, thank we neutralised this. Imagine doing this in the rain. and I just hit this big diesel pile, and I just high-sided straight over the front of my bike and ate shit on a neutralized downhill. And I was sitting on the ground, and I was like, it was one of those crashes that, like crashes normally, like you crash and there's like adrenaline and you sort of get back up quickly and jump on your bike, and then you get back to the hotel and realize, oh, that kind of hurt. Like, but this was one of those ones I was cold as hell, and it just really just hurts. Like everything just hurt straight away. I was like, fuck. And then got back to the bunch eventually, and everyone's like, well, how'd you manage that? That was neutralized. So yeah, don't want to talk about it.
I'll tell you a couple of things about that neutralization. There was one guy in the race that was a real advocate for neutralizing that stage, and that was me, because I was out the arse, and the only way I was getting back was from that neutralization. Because, like you say, George, there've been so many crashes, and I got stuck behind a massive one, the one that took down Caleb and Degenkolb and Gilbert, where Gilbert broke his kneecap, like a massive one,
yep.
bottom of the climb.
We had a few boys in there. Hey, we had 2 boys in there too. Walt and Armand were in there.
Yeah, and we were chasing like madmen. I was with Caleb, and we weren't going to come back. We weren't going to come back, but we came back because you guys had neutralized. And then just as I got back, I saw you high side it like bloody Mark Marquez in the first round of MotoGP. And then I thought, oh, he's busted his collarbone, because when I went past, I'm pretty sure I heard you say, I've broken my collarbone. And I was like, oh, well, he's out. It's going to be a shit rest day podcast without him. And then, anyway, we carried on and we started racing again. And then I saw George come back. I thought, oh, shit. Oh, good. He's fine, You came past me at about 3 times the speed of the rest of the bunch and just locked up. And you were just sideways coming off that highway. I was like, oh, here he goes again. Here. And oh, no, he saved it. He saved it. Beauty. He's all right. He saved it. Coming into 3K to go. Move. Who's down? George.
I didn't crash first, so they just ate that one there. I just finally got back to Primoz, put them in the position, and I was like, oh, good, I can sit up. And I just started sitting up, and then everyone in front of me just ate shit. And I just went straight over the top. And that one thing, I just winded myself, and I was like trying to breathe. And then you pop your fucking head up, and you're like, are you all right, mate? I'm like, you're like, just started laughing at me. And I was trying to breathe, lying on the ground. He just pissing himself at me, like hunched over, like,
I was giving you like the first aid tips, like deep breath, bro, deep breath, suck it and then he just started laughing and trying to breathe and laugh at the same time. But he's all right.
Well, you got kudos on the coverage, Bills, because I think people could see you like trying to help George, or you look like you're doing something. And it's always when people see it on the TV and you're the one that gets all the chapeau, like, oh, geez, that Billy's a good bloke, when really you're just laughing at him.
It's all smoke and mirrors. It's all smoke and mirrors.
Oh, geez, they're good value, those two. They're just good insights, like banter on the bike and, all the stuff that goes on behind the scenes. But he's got a pretty big couple of weeks ahead, Georgie Bennett, because
he certainly has.
Geez, if you were to call it now, you'd say, it's probably between Roglic and my man Pogačar. I don't know.
Yeah, I've done my tips for tomorrow's Addy, and I have picked neither of them to win. I reckon Bernal is going to come good in the last week and beat the pair of them.
Really?
Yep. I changed. I've jumped off Roglic. He just impressed me at the end of that last mountain where he counter-attacked as if to put the finger up and say, I'm still here, fellas. And I just think in the last week, he'll be the strongest.
Right. Well, there you go. Now, before we get to your tips, John, we'll go to our favourite segment, which is the Detour DeLorean.
Roads? Where we're going, we don't need roads.
Now, I was going through the archives and I thought, who doesn't like a good blooper montage? And there were some classics from the 2015 Tour de France. And the one at the very end, I won't give it away, but you remember this incident. So we'll talk about that once the clip's finished. But here's a very funny montage from the 2015 Tour.
Well, that's a wrap on day one here in town.
Yeah, you sound pretty motivated.
Great win from Rowan Dennis. First win in the prologue by an Australian since 2003 with No.
Not even prologue.
One's a time trial, one's a prologue.
First stage.
Yeah, that's it for the day. First stage here, time trial, won by Grow and Dennis. It's bloody great.
Was that growing, Dennis?
Yeah, bloody good day for Australia. Not so great for us, but we're there. We're ready to fight for another day. What are we doing, mate?
Yeah, that was day for us, wasn't it?
That's a wrap for us. Whitey, what?
Hey, number 5 with the sheriff. Here we go. Bang.
Okay, great day here for Australia at least. Rowan Dennis took out the first stage. What the f*** was wrong with that?
For Australia at least.
First stage win by NL.
Think positive now. Think positive.
There we go. That's it for stage 1 here in the Tour de France, up in Holland, would you believe? But anyway, a bloody great win by Rowan Dennis. What was wrong with that?
What have we been talking about all day?
This new lens, you feel like you got to have it heaps closer. It's a bit intimidating.
Yeah.
Welcome to the second day morning matches of the 39th Ryder Cup.
You're an idiot. Good day for Eureka Green Edge. We sort of passed the day as well as we could. Getting ready for today, tomorrow.
Yeah, tomorrow's a big day. We
a little bit of a rest. Yeah, it was. Could it? It's not too long.
You think it's something interesting to say? I can just add on to it.
Someone come in front and grab this GoPro. You got to fit behind the joke. Oh, it's going to carry it to the sideline.
50 cars back through a town with 100 riders stopped trying to get.
And yeah, I totally that one. I don't know. A little bit rattled there, yeah. Man. Yeah, not much to really say there. Boys have got through all right. Okay. Stage of jams. It's stage 9. 9. Yep. Base 13, isn't it? Yep. Was it 6, 15? 15. That's a wrap. Stage 16, Tour de France. Another
stage 17. Is it really?
18's at 18 today? 19. Yeah, 18, 20, yeah.
You say that every time we do the wrap together. What stage is that?
I know.
I'm going to cut all the best on.
Just keeping you on your toes.
Stage 20, isn't it there?
Yeah. One more day of school. Got that for mate. How's your day?
Yeah, it's alright. I just didn't have it really.
Sorry, mate.
Alright, you want to ask me some questions later?
Oh.
I was talking to him, not you. Hell, man.
Yeah, very, very good clip from the 2015 tour. But that last one, that was pretty funny when Yatesy was fired up. That's Simon. And poor old Rupert went in to get a quick grab and he's gone it's talking to him, not you, mate. But yeah, that was just classic heat of the battle, Tour de France. Now, John, the Oracle, who's going to win stage 10?
I think Caleb will win it. It could split, but in the end, the big sprinters will be up the front. Sam Bennett will really be keen to, because he's not that far behind in the green jersey battle, so he'll be keen to get some points. But the great odds, I'll tell you who'd be worth backing, is Christoph, because I think I'm just looking at his odds, he's at about $25.
Yeah.
And he could be in with a chance for stage number 2.
Now, if there is wins, you need a very good team at the front. Now, Wout van Aert, we said that on that stage that split and he went on to win it. That's going to be crucial. What odds is Wout van Aert?
Well, he's at $4.50, so he's right up there. And of course, you put him in, the Case Bowl as well. They're the guys.
Wout van Aert. I'm locking it in, Eddie. No lifelines.
Caleb.
All right. We should actually be going head to head to see who comes off better. And I'll backdate
most of my big wins, you've just gone, yeah, I agree with you, and then you claim them as a win yourself. But that's fine.
Yeah, but I said Pogacar as well, and you shut me down. So we'll call it even, and we'll start moving forward. So you can have Caleb, I'll have Wout van Aert. Anyway, another massive show. Stay tuned every night, 7:30 Australian Eastern Standard Time. We'll be announcing a new competition from our mates at Let's Go. And big thanks to everyone for tuning in. Facebook.com/DetourPod. and on YouTube, search the Detour Podcast. Our mate Kirsty Baxter, Wood, $6 at Ladbroke. So there you go.
There you
Remember,
go. Okay. Yeah.
shop around. And we've got another Gary would like to see Sam Bennett to take today's stage. He deserves one. It's a good point.
Yes, he'd be right in the mix. He'd look very, very good. Probably been the most consistent finisher, but he still hasn't won a Tour de France stage. But just a little extra,
Yes.
we're also going to have another competition for some beautiful Mitchelton wine. So we're going to announce that too. So they're all in there. These are going to be the great giveaways. So get your questions sorted out, punters, because it's going to be the best questions that win these wonderful prizes.
Yes, and we might have a soft spot for people that share the podcast and spread the word as well. I'm sure we could sling a bottle of Mitchelton to someone that's sharing the show and getting behind it, Johnny. All right, that wraps a big ep, and we'll see you tomorrow. And go Wood.
Caleb.
This is the winning ride.